Hello, this is Alpha725, here with the KV4 replay. Um, in this replay, I hope to show you sort of the strengths and weaknesses of the KV4 and also show you some ways that you can more effectively deal with it just because in this replay it really points out how people don't know how to deal with this tank. Now, just to start the replay. So, right here, one of the limitations of the KV4 is definitely its speed. It only has a top speed of 30 kilometers per hour. So in this, you always have to be considerate. Like you always have to consider where you're going to go in this match. Now you know it's inflexible, something like the T95, but you really do need to place yourself in very strong positions in order to well, in this case, carry a game. Now, as you can see, as the game develops, a lot of my teammates are heading up to the north, and they don't seem to be interested in the cap circle at all. I've already asked them to come down. This is a bit of an opportunistic shot. Not particularly necessary, but, you know, I've got a lot of ammunition. So as we progress down here, we'll see that there's only the artillery that moves down further south, as well as the T-71. And this T-71 and we basically win the game. But it's only through like our good luck and some stupidity on the enemy's team. One thing I'd like to note in the KV4 is that the turret is very, very far back on its pivotal. See that? See how the gun can go straight across like that? You can side scrape with an angle of that. So effectively, you only get to see that much of the tank. Oh, that much of the tank. Anyway, so me and this T-71 have figured out that we need to go down here and defend. Now, I'm going to explain why I take a couple of pot shots here, but I'll do that just in a second, so you can sort of get a feel for the situation that I was in. Anyway, so I see the Cheeto, and I decide to fire flush. Now, I miss. I auto-aim on him just to look around and see what the T-71 is doing. And by the time I've reloaded, he's out of line of sight. Not so helpful. Anyway, but he's not going to keep me tracked. I've got a very good repair crew plus a large repair kit. Now, at this point, I think to myself, I can't waste any time. I'm just going to... okay, once again, I should have aimed that shot. There was no reason for me not to. I just assumed that he was going to be running away. Anyway, we plant a meaty shot into him there, and then we move up. My observational device was knocked out. I don't repair it because I've got the T-71 supporting me, and all the enemies that I need to deal with are right in my local vicinity. I plant one into the Pershing. Always aim for the hull of the Pershing, never the turret. And if you do aim for the turret, aim outside of the mantle. Anyway, I move toward the cap because I have to interrupt. Anyway, I'm still reloading. That Indem Panzer is coming up on my left. Put another one into the Pershing. Oh, that was a low roll. Didn't realize that. Still reloading. Now you can see the awesome reload time. Okay, take a couple of hits. Plant one straight into the side. Bit flush. But you can see the awesome reload time on this 100 and... I think it's an 100mm, just, yeah. Okay, plant one into the Pershing side. Angle myself against the Pershing and the Super Pershing. Track seat the shot. Aimed for the whole of the Super Pershing. Plant the shot, get a nice high roll. Get tracked again, but as you can see my tracks, it's almost faster just to leave it. Go for the weak spot, miss. It doesn't really matter. I'm stopping them from capping at this point. And I'm relieving any pressure that's on my team at this. Anyway, so I decided to be really aggressive here and just push. I thought that if the Pershing was still around, I'd need to do that. I aim for the weak point on top of the tank. comes back around for another try. I'm looking around, trying to stay situationally aware. Fire into the Super Pershing's upper plate, upper turret. Now, he makes a bit of a mistake here. I don't understand quite what he was doing. But... oh well. Anyway, as you can see, while that combat was taking place, my team, and subsequently the enemy's team, have significantly reduced in numbers. However, as you can see, we're definitely at a disadvantage, and it's only going to get worse from here. The T-20, he moves... the T-20 and the T-32 are just down that ridge. T-30 is probably using his strong turret armor to just absolutely make a nightmarish time for that Centurion. The T-71 is moving up on the flank. He's setting himself up to spot. Very helpful for me, especially when I've got this damaged viewport, but I'm not going to repair it until I have to. And see, I'm indicating to him there that I am, in fact, blind and have my viewport knocked out. This tank actually has a very decent rear range for the Russian heavy, with 350 meters. I so very much wanted to help this Centurion, but it wasn't meant to be, and yeah. Anyway, so here I'm trying to angle myself as well as I can. See the AMX 1375? He is actually going to move to our base and try and eliminate our artillery. I get spotted here, but I can't see anything, so it really just highlights how blind I actually am with this damaged viewport. Alright, so the Ferdinand and the T-32 are setting up along the ridge at the top. I pull back, trying to keep myself as covered as possible. The T-20, I go to shoot him, but I'm almost 100% certain that did not go in. Anyway, the AMX just took out the artillery, and I didn't realize this at the time. I was very heavily focused on what was in front of me. I take a hit from the artillery. It blows my tracks off, does near no damage. I put my tracks back up. The T-71 moves to the enemy base to take out the artillery. This is a very good move by him. I shoot the hull. Low roll, but, you know, you also get high rolls, so you gotta live with these things. Now, I'm beginning to get worried about that Ferdinand that's now positioned itself up on the ridge. I'm now spotted by the T-20, and the Ferdinand is just fired. I want to take this T-28, this T-20 out because he's spotting me. Unfortunately, I can't seem to do that, so I decided to fire a shot. It was a bit flush, but it went into his lower plate. I have my armor relatively well angled. Even at this angle, it is very hard to penetrate that 140 millimeters of armor. Anyway, now you start to notice I'm taking hits from behind, and at the time I was so tunnel visioned on this Ferdinand that I hadn't noticed. You know, I turn around, this sad old AMX 1375. He hasn't got the most penetration. I've got 90 millimeters of hull armor, but if you look closely here, you can see that he was actually shooting at my very well-angled lower plate. That was actually a very unlucky shot, by the way. I actually had the back of his tank highlighted, but it wasn't quite meant to be. That's interesting. So I've got colorblind mode on. Alright, anyway, this is one of the things that the AMX 75 suffers from, which is terrible track traverse and not so good acceleration. But anyway, what I just did there was I bullied him into a bad position, and he paid for it. Whilst that was happening, the T-71 actually moved around, took out the Ferdinand, and is now positioned himself very aggressively up on slope. I so very much want to keep this guy alive. It is much easier to put a shot into the side of the T-32. I think the... I haven't got a shot here. I know it too. So I desperately wanted to help him. It is much easier to carry a game when you have support. Hats off to this T-20. He's kept me spotted for his team the entire time because he knows he hasn't got the penetration to get through my armor. And he's also picked up 4 kills. So, well done to him. Anyway, so now I realize, okay, I need to repair my viewports. I cannot spot things without being able to take advantage of my full view range. I move behind the Pershing to take maximum cover that I can from the T-32. A lot of players play very aggressively on this map, and they will just shoot through buildings all day long to get to you if they know where you are. Fortunately, because I am not spotted, they're less likely to do this. Now I am spotted. Now I have a bit more of a concern. So I start to angle my armor. I see the T-20 over there. So I still have my armor angled for both of the tanks. And this is something that the KV-4 is very good at. It's very good at angling for multiple targets and avoiding damage. Now, he pokes his head over here. I don't think that was a very smart move. He was within one-shot range there. I rolled, if I had rolled high, this match could have gone very, very differently. Or it could have ended much sooner, I mean. So we're getting close. Okay, so he puts a shot in there. I'm pretty sure my tracks just ate that. Okay, take a bit of a flush shot there. I load a APCR round. The penetration on them is very good. Very good. Nearly 300 millimeters of penetration. It's not strong enough to get through the mantle of a T-32, but it is strong enough to get through the weaker areas of its tank, and especially at really very great angles, you definitely need the extra bit of penetration to get through it. Up to 107 millimeter. There you go. So as you can see there, you could actually see the cupola on the tank. Now, this is where I might want to change the ammunition load that I take. I actually got this cupola here. I might want to take some high explosive rounds just for those sorts of situations, but I didn't feel that it was important enough. Now, the T-20 puts a shot in. He obviously shot me through my MG port or something like that, or is using APCR. Anyway, at this point I just decided to be very aggressive with him. I can't let him kite me for the rest of the match and make it a draw. So I put my last and final shot of the match in. So there you have it, guys. I hope you've seen sort of the strengths and weaknesses of the KV-4. Its immobility is, I would say, more than made up for in its armor. And the gun is very, very fast fire rate and very decent alpha damage. With good penetration, makes it a very strong tank, especially against other heavily armed targets, especially when you use the accuracy of the gun to target weak points. Anyway guys, this is Alpha 725 with the Brotherhood of Combat, and I'll see you next time.